Hey guys, this is KAIZMOLD and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to show you how to use the amazing version 2.0 of the KAIZMOLD, which is our very own modeling compound, or in other words, SCULPTAMOLD for making your bases for terrain. I put SCULPTAMOLD in this glass here. This is just your standard shot glass cups, plastic shot glass cups, which is perfect for mixing paint and such. We're gonna mix some and I'm gonna teach you guys how to use this. You just add enough water for it to look like paste-like consistency. This is a way better substitute for texture paste. Because some texture paste in time they dry because it's a powdered form. Shelf life will last longer than your regular texture paste. Just add enough water for it to look like paste. Just keep on adding and adding water. Go. There you go. It's looking like paste. Now, this dries typically a few hours. Depends on how much water you put in. If you put too much water in this, of course it's gonna dry longer, but it will still form like a clump texture like this one. I suggest just put enough for it just to look like texture paste, the enough consistency you want. Usually, I'll add paint to this. It could be inks, it could be acrylic paints, or it could be ink powders, so to thin this out. So if you're gonna make your own texture paste, this is basically the base. So add water to this. Add your preferred color. It could be black if you want to make asphalt. It could be brown if you want to make dirt and such. You could also add like sand or rocks if you want a grittiness to it. This is very chunky already, but if you want to add grittiness, then add some rocks. So I have a base here. It's a simple base, 40 mil base. You can just slap it on. This is, by the way, a palette knife, which is easier for me to slap on stuff. Look at that. So it's like forming like ground. It's forming like a ground like texture. It's easy to spread like that. See, paste like. You can stack it. Grab a little bit. Just do your formation. Just form the ground that you want. There you go. Right, try to put a little bit high, or I just use this to stipple effects on it, like this. And let's wait for it to dry. I also have samples here. So this is the one where I put brown ink on it. It looks like a Martian-like ground. I really flattened it up because I do want a flattened surface. So look at that, very gaunchy too. And you could also, I have another sample here. Since I use it to form a base for this mini from Miss Casturing. It's gonna be painted soon. And you could paint them, you could add a lot of effects. If you want them to have a wet look, I'll grab PVA glue. This is just PVA glue. I'll add a little bit of PVA glue to give them like a wet look when they dry. Because some people would like their texture would look like wet mud of some sort, or if you add grit, it could be moss. So just add some PVA and just mix it all around. It also makes them dry faster if you add PVA too. So if you want a little quicker dry time, add PVA. If you have a dehydrator, you could also put them in a dehydrator when you make your bases. Now, can you use texture rollers on them? I'm gonna grab here a big sheet so you guys can see. This is a 1 foot 1 foot sheet that I'm gonna use to build a trench crusade terrain later. I'm gonna place some SCULPTAMOLD in this thing. I'm gonna put all of our KAIZMOLD here. I'll spread it a bit. So let's put camera closer. This is a texture roller, so I'm gonna put some texture into this. It could really register prints really well. There you go. And you can use this to make your different bases and such. If you want to spread it around, I suggest add a little bit of water to your fingers. Go. And just wait for it to dry. It could take impressions from texture rollers very well, or texture stamps, or whatever you use to stamp some textures into your bases, and it can do it. Now, I also have the dried one that I've been working on because I'm sampling some textures. You can prime this with hand primer. I'm gonna use some ARCUS hand primer here. You just spread it around and prime them if you want to. Spray paint is also safe. I prefer spray paint because if you're working for a big area, then that would be great. And then you can paint them all you want after you dry. So I have another sample here. This is one of the bases that I made. I used flat white and then contrast paints. There you go, look at that. SCULPTAMOLD for the ground effects there, and added bits on top of that. Now let's go back to our 40mm base. If you're gonna plan some basing for minis, you can just put your mini here so you can make an imprint of where your legs go. Like me, planning for my Communicons from Trench Crusade. So I want him to be like in a very, very gritty ground. You guys are wondering, this dry is technically around 4 to 6 hours dry time. And then afterwards, you can start priming it, painting it. People usually just straight on color this with primer while they're mixing it, so they don't need to prime it. But it depends on you. I would prefer just wait to dry then prime it because that's how I work. Then Zenital prime. It can do that too. So really, the world is your oyster. This is a 200 or 200 ml packs. I would really suggest you guys get this. This will go a long way. Make sure you get something to mix here. It could be popsicle sticks or anything you could prefer, but I just prefer a palette knife when mixing, so I could just use this to spread it all like when you're making your house. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. This is the KAIZMOLD demo. This will be available on our store. I hope you guys like it and see more stuff that we create with this with our accompanying tutorials. And see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.